Ooh, welcome to Ole Walls House. It's me. It's your man. It's your main man. It's Ole Walls, and I'm back with you for episode 196. Gonna run solo here this week. Got a fun show to talk about. We got a full slate of NFL, college football. The MLB playoffs are underway, so a lot of fun stuff that I'll be getting into here. But first, if you guys could, you know the deal. Please rate, review, comment, subscribe, and share. Let people know Ole Walls House is the place to be. Don't forget to check out the merch shop. You can get this hat. You can get this shirt. You can get some great full-range podcast gear. And you can find my guy MJ in the Full Range Podcast on Spotify or on the Ole Walls House YouTube channel. So thank you guys for all the support. I appreciate it all. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And without any further ado, let's get into the show. NFL Week 5, all but complete. In a little bit here, the Chiefs and the Jaguars will be kicking off. I won't be adding anything to the pod tonight for that. So we'll just have to kind of see how that plays off. But kind of a must-win game maybe for the Chiefs. I don't know. 2-2, they've righted the ship a little bit, but. Elsewhere, 49ers Rams Thursday night, overtime, goal line stand. Mac Jones and Matt Stafford slinging it. Mac Jones 33 of 49, 342 yards, 2 tutties. Not to be outdone, Matt Stafford says, how about 389 and 3 tutties? Pretty wild game there Thursday night. And but the 49ers, 4-1, Mac Jones slinging it. Do we have a quarterback controversy in San Francisco? When Brock Purdy comes back and is healthy, is it his team? Is it Mac Jones' team? It's one of those things. It's hard to, I don't want to call Brock Purdy a marginal quarterback, but if you're not just an out and out stud and you got a guy like Mac Jones who had some high promise and he's slinging the rock and getting you wins, what do you do? Do you go back? The problem is you got a lot of money tied up in these quarterbacks anymore that who knows? Probably it's hard to say, hey, we're paying Brock Purdy all this money. We're just going to roll with Mac Jones. But at the same time, they're winning. They're winning. Vikings beat the Browns over in, I think they were in London this week. Carson Wentz, again, continuing to lead them. Dylan Gabriel, first start for the Browns. Nothing crazy, nothing terrible. 19 of 33, 190 yards, 2 touchdowns. David Njoku, Justin Jefferson, leading receivers from each team. Browns actually got out and were leading for lots of this game before Carson Wentz led the Vikings down the field after giving up a field goal with about 3 minutes left. Or sorry, a touchdown, not a field goal. A touchdown to David Njoku with about 3 minutes left. Carson Wentz led him down the field, hit Jordan Addison back in the right corner. Nice little comebacker out. And that was the game. Carson Wentz showing some gusto. Giants fumble it around. The Saints get a win. I saw a thing. This is the first quarterback the Saints have drafted to get a win since 1998, Spencer Rattler was. First quarterback the Saints have drafted to get a win since 1998. Jackson Dart had 2 interceptions. Cam Scatabo fumbled. Sloppy game for the Giants. Colts, boots to asses. Boots to asses over the Raiders. They forced 2 interceptions. Daniel Jones efficient again, 20 of 29. 212 yards through the air, 2 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor scored 3 touchdowns on the day. Daniel Jones also rushed it for 1 single time for 2 single yards. But, man, the Colts, keep going. What have the Colts got coming up here? Cardinals, winnable game. Chargers, tough one. Titans, very winnable. Steelers, winnable. Falcons, winnable. Chiefs, maybe not what they once were. Texans, not great. Jags, that's a winnable game. Seahawks, that's a tough game, but it's winnable. There are a lot of wins, and then they finished 49ers, Jags, Texans. there are a lot of wins still out there for the now 4-1 division leading Indianapolis Colts. The Panthers and the Dolphins play kind of a weird, wild game. And we have the greatest announcer of all time. I got to find it on my phone. I think his name was Eric Collins. The dude was just amped about everything. It was so fucking awesome. He just made the game seem so much more ridiculous. Yes, Eric Collins is his name. This is a great one. I'll see if the mic will pick it up here. I hope the mic picked that up and didn't mess up. Just total. Apparently, that guy's also the Hornets announcer. I might have to just start watching Charlotte Hornets games to see this dude freak out because it was awesome. I loved every second of it. No more undefeated teams. First undefeated team to go down. Philadelphia Eagles. Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos kind of being the team we thought they maybe would be at the start of the year. Going to Philly, score 18 points in the fourth quarter. They were down 17-3. Eagles came out and scored an early touchdown in the third quarter. Saquon Barkley got loose on a pass from Jalen Hurts. And then all of a sudden, here come the Broncos. J.K. Dobbins gets a touchdown run early in the fourth. Evan Ingram finds the end zone from Bo Nix, and then they add a field goal with about 1:11 left to just kind of ice it away, and the Eagles can't get it down the field. The Broncos defense showed up, held the Eagles to 45 rushing yards, made them kind of get it through the air, and that seemed to be a recipe for success. So the Eagles no longer undefeated. I skipped the Cowboys and the Jets in here. The Cowboys beat up the hapless Jets. Jets still can't win. The Ravens are in trouble. Down Lamar Jackson, they go with Cooper Rush, who throws 3 interceptions, one of the worst ones I've maybe ever seen in my life at one point from his own end zone. Derrick Henry held in check. Zay Flowers was really the lone bright spot. CJ Stroud had a nice game as the Texans kind of try and bounce back themselves. That's 2 wins in a row for them now. He goes 23-27, 244. Titans find a way to beat the Cardinals. Yes, they scored 16 in the fourth quarter to come back after being down 21-6. And all of a sudden, the Titans have a win, and the Cardinals, who you thought maybe could have had a little momentum going for themselves. And that was a wild game. Bucks, Seahawks. We were just scoring in bunches out here, people. Bucks got up early. Seahawks come back, take the lead. They trade scores. Bucks, Seahawks, Bucks, Seahawks. Seahawks take the lead. Bucks come back. Finally, a game-winning field goal from Chase McLaughlin as time expired. What a really fun game. The early slate was kind of and then the afternoon, the 4 games in the afternoon were just going off. I mean, this was a fun one. 426 yards from the Bucks, 463 from the Seahawks. Both Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield slinging it here. Baker 29-33 for 379 and 2 touchdowns. Sam Darnold 28 of 34 for 4 touchdowns and an interception. Jackson Smith and Jigba has a big game, 8 receptions and a touchdown. Emeka Egbuka, and maybe even bigger game, 7 receptions, 163 yards. It's good to be a wide receiver from the Ohio State University. What else did I miss here? Lions handle the Bengals. Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies to Cooper Rush. It was Jake Browning with that interception from his own end zone. He just lofted it up. They did find a way to hit Jamar Chase for 2 touchdowns, 6 receptions, 110 yards. Really helpful for my fantasy team. So at least thank you for that. If you can't do much else, that's what you got to do. Commanders take down the Chargers pretty convincingly after the Chargers go up 10-0 and then don't score another point. They put 10 points on the board in the first quarter, and after that, it was all Commanders. Jaden Daniels back from injury, 15-26, 231 and a touchdown. Krosky Merritt, 14 carries, 111 yards. Debo had a good game. Keenan Allen, leading receiver for the Los Angeles Chargers, also on my fantasy team. Played him this week. And then the nightcap in just an ugly game. Interceptions from Josh Allen, a fumble from Josh Allen. Just ugly. The Patriots take down the Bills. No more undefeated teams in the NFL. My Packers were off this week. I think they're opening up this next week against the Bengals as like 13.5-point favorites. I think I heard was the first number. The Bengals are bad. Packers got to get back on in the win column. I mean, 3-1-1 wouldn't be bad. You're chasing the Lions. Lions head to the Chiefs. We got a doubleheader Monday night. Bills, Falcons, Bears, Commanders. Some other games. Eagles, Giants on Thursday night. That should be an easy way for the Eagles to bounce back. We have another Europe game. This one's the Northumberland Development Project. Todd is a regenerative scheme centered around on the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in Tottenham, London. So that's another London game. Seahawks, Jags, Rams, Ravens. I don't know if what the prospects on Lamar are yet, but man, the Ravens 1-4. What a year! I mean, for a team that everybody thought was going to be pretty good, that was pretty rough. Saints look to keep theirs kind of going. Browns, Steelers were off this week. Can they keep some wins going? 49ers, Bucks has maybe turned into a game that everybody's going to be interested in. Maybe might be something there. 49ers kind of rolling with Mac Jones. The Bucks, Baker Mayfield getting it done. Some nice things here. Chargers, Dolphins. I didn't mention this when I was talking about the Dolphins game, mostly just because the announcer was so awesome. But Mike McDaniel, I mean, we thought he was in trouble. They got to win, the week before and maybe slowed him down, but it feels like he's in a lot of trouble. I mean, that feels like the referendum. I mean, you look around the league. I mean, the AFC West, I think MJ and I talked about that was going to be a pretty competitive league or pretty competitive division. Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers. I mean, if the Chiefs win tonight here, that'll be 3 teams at 3-2. The AFC North, which, we thought was also going to be a pretty competitive division with the Bengals, the Ravens, and, maybe the Steelers trying to just fight their way into the playoffs. Now, all of a sudden, the Steelers look like they've got a division to win and one they should go win. They're 3-1. The Bengals are 2-3. Again, with Jake Browning, and we're still at least a month or two away from Joe Burrow. That's a division for the Steelers to go win. They're up a bunch on the Ravens now. That looks rough. So, oofta. AFC South, gonna get weird, I bet. I mean, Colts at 4-1, Jags at 3-1. Feels like the Texans were supposed to be a better team than either of those teams, but the Colts just don't punt ever, apparently. So, that's a wild division all of a sudden. Patriots keeping it closer than we thought with the Bills now. That's a 2-horse race there. Dolphins, Jets, real bad. Jets, only team without a win in the NFL. Commanders staying alive in the NFC East with a win. Jaden Daniels comes back, see if they can get something rolling. NFC West, about to be wild, I think. 49ers at 4-1 lead the division, but then you're looking at the Seahawks and the Rams, who can both put up points in an absolute hurry. NFC North, staying nice and competitive. No team under 500 there. Bears at 2-2 in last place. Then you got Vikings at 3-2, Packers at 2-1-1, and then the Lions up at 4-1. And the Lions are just scoring points. 174 points this year. And keep in mind, that's after they got, barely put 8 points on the board in week 1 against the Packers. I mean, they're outscoring even the Colts by 11 points this year, but they're just running away with it so far. So fun there. And then the NFC South, that looks like it's the Buccaneers division to win. Just keep doing what you're supposed to do. They're at 4-1, tied for the best record in football. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep it rolling. Keep Baker hot. Emeka Egbuka is, emerging as a star in this league. So should be fun the rest of the way here in the NFL. Let's talk some college football now. Might as well just start there. Penn State. A loss to previously winless UCLA. A loss to a UCLA team that just fired half their coaching staff. A loss to an offense with their play caller being Jerry Neuheisel, who had never called plays before, maybe in his life. I can't remember the story, but definitely not on this stage. It's just unacceptable. Unacceptable. And the first things out of Franklin's mouth in the aftermath was, we lost some players in the Oregon game and couldn't have them play this week. We weren't up and ready for this game. The travel was hard. Excuse, excuse, excuse. He ends it with, it's my job to get him there. Yeah, it is. I'm done. I'm done with this team. I am done with... I'm just done with Penn State until we're done with James Franklin. And it's not going to happen, so I'm out. I mean, there were just some things that... Here we go. UCLA had scored 57 points going into that game. That was against Utah, UNLV, New Mexico, and Northwestern. 42 on Penn State. 435 total yards. 269 of them coming on the ground. 22 first downs, 10 of 16 on third down. They had less penalties. They had one single punt. They didn't fumble. They didn't throw an interception. They dominated time of possession. They ran 20 more plays. Just Nico Imalavea ran for 128 yards and 3 touchdowns. He threw for another 166 and 2 touchdowns. At the end of the game, just more bad coaching. Everybody in their world knows what UCLA's doing at the very end of that game. They're going to drop the punter back, and they're going to take the safety so they don't have to punt from their own end zone. Penn State didn't rush anybody. The punter just stood back there and ran off another 6-7 seconds. They didn't rush anybody. They were just standing around, and the punter was just standing in the back of the end zone. UCLA didn't hold a lead until that game. Penn State was the first team in 40 years that was a top 10 ranked team to lose to an 0-4 team. They were a 24.5 point favorite. It is the third time since 2020 that Penn State was a 20-point favorite and lost the game. Teams that entered 0-4 or worse and defeat an AP top 10 team since 1955. UCLA against Penn State. In 1985, UTEP beat BYU. And in 1958, Tulane beat Navy. Penn State has not beaten a Power 4 opponent. They joined Texas in that. And anybody in the top 25. Just horrendous. UCLA had not held a lead. They held the lead for 40 plus minutes on Saturday. I'm out. I am out on Penn State. I'm not doing it anymore. Last week was pushed me to the edge. This week did it. And I know he's not going. He has a $54 million buyout. Not happening. Not happening. I mean, you look forward in the Penn State schedule. We talked about it already. Northwestern comes to town. They should take care of Northwestern. But go to Iowa, Kinnick, they lose games there. They have to go to Ohio State I mean, unless this team has a massive about face, there is no chance in hell they win that game. And then the very next week, they got Indiana rolling into town, and all Indiana's doing lately is just winning football games. Penn State fell from number 2 in the country 2 weeks ago to not in the top 25. Texas also out of the top 25. Number 1 and number 2 in the country out of the top 25 by like what, week 7? What is this in college football? Week 7, essentially. Yeah. James Franklin got this deal after the 2021 season. His previous 2 seasons going into that were 4-5, 7-6. They extended him for 10 years after that for $85 million. Just a disaster of a contract. And I know, he wins 10 games. But he can't win the big one. He's what? I just saw this. I've got it here somewhere. It's not just that he's not good against the top 10, because you can almost be like, okay, it's tough to win games against the top 10, right? You're like 4-20. Not ideal. Pretty bad. It said he's not even any good against the top 25. He's 16-28 against the top 25. It's like, yeah, they just always beat the teams they're supposed to, and they just never win the big one. Well, here's another example. 3 times since 2020 that you were a 20-point favorite and didn't beat the team you were supposed to. 20 points? 20-plus points? It's not like this was a tough road environment. It was the half-empty Rose Bowl. It's never going to happen. I'm not stupid. I know there's going to be everybody in a row. Well, what's the alternative? What if you get worse? Yeah, you might. But if this is the reality, it's like, oh, we're going to beat 3 bullshit teams to start the year. We're going to beat the bottom of the Big Ten. And then every single game that matters, we're going to lose. Oh, well, we went to the semifinals last year. Yeah, we got gifted an absolute cakewalk to the semifinals. So here today, I am out. I am out on Penn State. I found myself literally rooting against them because I was like, I don't want to hear at the end of the year, oh, but we went 10-2. Yeah, you snuck by UCLA. No, I'm done. I'm out. Sick of it. I'm out. When James Franklin's gone, I'll be back. Elsewhere in college football, like I said, Texas loses. They're out of the top 25. The Arch Manning thing doesn't appear to be working. South Florida wins. Cincinnati takes down Iowa State in a little bit of an upset. Georgia keeps winning. Alabama kind of beats up on Vanderbilt. Notre Dame gets a win. What are they back up to? 3-2 now. Finally in a positive. Lost 2 games at the start of the year by, combined 4 or 5 points. Virginia takes down Louisville. Michigan beats up on Wisconsin, who I think might have been playing their 3rd-string quarterback. Oklahoma against Kent State in kind of a weird week here. Texas A&M keeps finding ways to win. They just beat the ever-living piss out of Mississippi State. Ohio State absolutely dominates Minnesota. And the U is for real. Go in to Florida State and get up early, up 28-3. Florida State ends up coming back to make it somewhat of a game late. I mean, they score a touchdown with 10 minutes left in the 4th quarter, be down 17, get another touchdown with a 2-point conversion to get down 9 with 3 minutes left. I mean, the final score doesn't look as bad as it was. And they racked up some numbers kind of getting there, but that was a domination from Miami, really. Carson back, incredibly efficient, 20-27, 241, 4 touchdowns. But my favorite thing I saw And Barstool Big Cat tweeted this. The touchdown that Florida State scored with 10 minutes and 4 seconds left. I believe the running back's name is, or this was a receiver maybe. LaWayne McCoy is giving us the night when they just scored to go down 28-9. Like what are we doing? I don't understand. Like what's going on? Someone explain that to me. You're getting your absolute ass beat and you're going to showboat? Incredible. The confidence some people have to just do something like that. I would just shut the fuck up and go back to the huddle. We got some interesting games this week, at least one or two, I believe. Okay, more like one. It's more like, oh no, there's two. Okay, I was going to say, I thought I'd heard about a couple. And the third, all right. Alabama, Missouri, Ohio State, Illinois. Those are both going off at high noon Eastern, which is unfortunate that both those games go off at the same time. Ohio State travels to Illinois. Alabama travels to Missouri. And then a little later in the day, we have Indiana out at Oregon. What can Indiana do? We also have the Red River rivalry, a game that, at the start of the year, we probably would have viewed a little bit differently. But Oklahoma is going to be the heavy favorite going into this one. Florida got a big win this past week. They go to Texas A&M. Can they do it twice? But again, is Texas a big win? I don't know. Maybe not, but Florida's going to give it a go. Oh, what else we got? Oops. Michigan USC, again, a game maybe sounded better at the start of the year than what we're getting. South Carolina LSU, Arizona State, Utah. So not a ton of stuff going. Next week could be pretty interesting. There's some games in the SEC. Ole Miss, Georgia, LSU, Vandy, Tennessee, Alabama. You also get Texas Tech, Arizona State over in the Big 12. So, a few games here in college football the next couple weeks. So let's keep our eyes on those. Let's talk a little MLB playoffs, shall we? We're underway. The AL is through 2 games. The NL took Sunday off and comes back with game 2s tonight on Monday. And then the AL comes back with their game 3s on Tuesday. And Wednesday, we have everybody again, kind of a weird little schedule. But you know what the weirdest thing was why doesn't the baseball set it up so they can get like game 1 and 2 of the divisionals out of, done. And I know it's because they want to finish their series on a Sunday, their final regular season series on a Sunday, but they should kind of bump that up a little bit so they can get through the wild card. Maybe start the wild cards on a Monday, go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, give Thursday off. You can start on Friday night. And I know people don't like being on Friday night because, nobody watches TV. It's bad ratings night. But, could it be any worse for the MLB to go on Friday night? Nothing else going on in the sports calendar. I don't think there was a single major, basketball, baseball, hockey, nothing like that has started yet. Football is off. Instead, you've got your playoffs going up against college football all day Saturday, NFL on Sunday, and I'm not really paying as much attention to them as I might otherwise do if it's Friday night and I've got nothing else on. I'm like, oh, but there's a full slate of baseball games I can keep an eye on. I would much rather do that than do nothing on a Friday night. But, if you balance it up against, football or just out doing things Saturday, then Sunday NFL football, it's going to lose. And, hey, I'm not everybody. Your baseball fans are going to be your baseball fans, and it would have been different if Cleveland was there. Cleveland wasn't there. We can get there. But, just kind of a little thought there. But, yeah, Cleveland goes down in the wild card round. They go 3 games with the Tigers, lose game 1, 2-1. Tarek Skubal throws a gem. What do you go there? 7 2/3. only allowed 3 hits, struck out 14. A boatload of strikeouts in that game because Gavin Williams went 6 innings, gave up 5 hits, didn't allow an earned run, struck out 8. Then Hunter Gaddis came in, struck out 3. Eric Sombrowski struck out 1, and Kate Smith struck out 1 for Cleveland. It was just, the bats. Cleveland scored 1 in the 4th, and that was it. And they manufactured the shit out of that run just to get it in. And then you go game 2. Cleveland bats actually came alive in game 2. I can't even find it on the thing here, but it was 6-1. There it is. They ended up scoring 5 in the 8th after just kind of, humming, being right in there. I should go back to game 1. Sorry, I've kind of blocked the pain and the loss out of my mind a little bit, but bottom of the 9th, they get Jose on third base. Should have been out at first. Bad throw. He books it all the way around the 3rd. Guy on 3rd, no outs. Jose gets caught in a rundown. So I know they've got to be aggressive on the base pass, and they got to kind of manufacture runs whenever they can. But that was just a mistake that your best player cannot make. Just can't happen. It just can't be done. Then the second game, that was Wednesday, the Wednesday game, game 2. George Valera hits a home run in the 1st, puts him on the board to lead off the 8th. Brian Rocchio hits a home run, and then Bo Naylor hits a 3-run blast, and all of a sudden it looked like, hey, there's some momentum here. Wasn't to be. It comes to the final, and there it was. I mean, they just, again, the bats just aren't there for Cleveland. They have to do so much. They went through a ton of pitchers, gave up a big inning in the 7th. There's so much that has to go right for Cleveland to win baseball games, especially in the playoffs, when you're not going to end up against like the 4 or 5 pitchers. You're going to get the top 3 guys, and just the way it goes. But I mean, just incredible that they were even there. But it was I didn't expect them to make a run to like even the ALCS again. I was kind of hoping they could get the Tigers. They kind of had the Tigers number, but it meant the Tigers were probably due, and they were. They got them. Elsewhere in the wild card, Yankees took down the Red Sox after losing the first game there. They had that young kid pitch for the Yankees on Cam Schlittler. Went 8 innings, struck out 12, allowed 5 hits, no runs. Cubs take down the Padres. Dodgers take down the Reds. Now we're into the divisionals. And the first game of the day was the Brewers-Cubs. I was playing a golf tournament with a bunch of Brewers fans, and man, that was an electric first and second inning. Just doubles and singles galore. Just go, 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 go. Cubs actually started that game off with a home run in the first to get going there. I believe Matthew Boyd opened the game. Former Cleveland guy, had been with Cleveland last year for a little bit, pitched in the playoffs for him with Dutch. They had him out by the first inning. Did not go well for the Cubbies, so Brewers take a 1-0 lead. The Blue Jays have absolutely put it on the Yankees. 10-0 game 1 win, 13-7 game 2 win. The other AL series, the Tigers sneak out game 1, the Mariners sneak out game 2, 3-2, 3-2 both ways. The Dodgers get one from the Phillies. The Phillies got up early in this game and then allowed 5 runs in the 6th and 7th inning. Oscar Hernandez, I believe, had a 3-run bomb in that 7th inning to push the Dodgers up over the Phillies. Stealing a game in Philadelphia for LA was big. So Philly and the Cubs and Brewers are on tonight. Again, we go to Wednesday before we get Mariners, Tigers, Blue Jays, Yankees back again. So fun thus far in the baseball playoffs. I've enjoyed it as a casual baseball viewer. It's been a nice time. So hopefully there's more. I would love to see the Cubs lose. Not upset at all seeing the Yankees get the shit kicked out of them. So, 2 things so far, so good. I've kind of going to turn myself into a Phillies fan here for the rest of the year. It's about all I got left in the baseball world. I'll just kind of root for the Phillies. Me and my guy Ethan Sexton will be Phillies fans coming down the stretch. So that's all I got with the MLB playoffs. Time for some passing thoughts. Just want to start with this. There's not much in the world better than apple pie and a scoop of vanilla ice cream. Roommate went to a farmer's market this weekend, picked up some apples, made some apple pie, got a nice vanilla bean ice cream. There's really not a whole lot better in the world than a homemade apple pie. The roommate says, makes a little crumble crust. Ooh, yeah. Not much better in the world than that, and just a good old-fashioned scoop of vanilla ice cream. That is hard to beat. That is real hard to beat. I think I told you last week also I made some applesauce. Maybe that was 2 weeks ago. I don't remember. I made more this weekend, and the roommate conned me. She's like, ooh, I really like that applesauce. You do such a good job making it. Here I am out there grinding away, just making applesauce, and she's conned me. She wanted it for her lunches. She wanted it for her lunches for the week, and there I am. I'm making it. Don't worry. I've been conned into it. I'm just out here grinding those damn apples. It's kind of a process. It's really not hard. Then you gotta get a little, sprinkle a little cinnamon, a little sugar, maybe a touch of brown sugar if you're feeling excitable. But yeah, she got me. I'm out there just cranking it, just boiling the apples. That's the worst part. Is you gotta boil them. You gotta move them around. You don't want anything burning. So that's probably enough. You've heard about my chef making when it comes to applesauce. I think I mentioned in the baseball, played golf this weekend. That'll probably do it. The sticks will probably be hung up. It was about 90. It was almost 90 degrees this weekend. I think the temperatures here in Wisconsin are about to turn fall-like finally, but it's been warm. Yeah, we got a high of like 71, 72 today, and then you look out on the daily. You're not seeing highs anything, touching 70 a couple times, but we're seeing highs in the 60s and some in the 50s. Nights down in the 40s. If you look out ahead about a week or so, got a nights down to below freezing because it's been weird. Our garden's been still rolling. Pulled a bunch of carrots out yesterday. Got to do a better job at spacing them. They all bunched up, so they didn't get big enough. Some of them that did get real. A fresh pulled carrot, get them in, wash them off, peel them up, throw them in the fridge with some homemade ranch. Tough to beat that as well. That's good. But yeah, our jalapenos are still going. It's been dry here, and I haven't been as diligent about watering the garden. It's just kind of been like, oh yeah, I should go water that, as opposed to when everything's planted and it's middle of summer and you're thinking about it all the time. But it's been dry, so our jalapenos have been popping. Whoo! Had some on a little breakfast sandwich, and man, did that open up the sinuses. I mean, I think that's the thing. Dry jalapeno, when the dry weather comes, it turns your jalapenos hot. And then I wasn't watering them a bunch just to keep the plant alive. So the heat level on those jalapenos has come up indeed. I forgot to mention a couple of things from kind of sports related, a little less like just out in the passing thoughts realm. But somebody tweeted this. Just turned on MLB playoffs, and Sean McDonough is effortlessly crushing the call, all while being ESPN's lead hockey play-by-play guy, number 2 in college football, and arguably their best college hoops guy. Most underrated talent in the history of sports media. Now, I mean, apparently the most underrated talent in the history of sports media is Eric Collins, who called that Panthers game this weekend. But yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh my God, yeah, like, think about all the stuff Sean McDonough does. Like I said, hockey. He always calls like the UNC Duke game now with Jay Billis, and he's great at football, and then he's doing like the dude is a jack of all trades. And I think you used to see that a little bit more in sports broadcasting. I mean, Al Michaels, if you ever listen to an Al Michaels interview, I mean, he's down to doing just football now. But back in the day, he used to do baseball. He used to do hockey. He did the Olympics. He did a little bit of everything. Mike Tirico does everything too. So, like, let's not knock Mike Tirico. But I don't think Tirico's ever been a hockey guy. But yeah, McDonough, incredible. And then the other thing I put kind of a sports note here, with Texas losing and being unranked, and Penn State losing and now being unranked. Again, this is a thing that's never going to happen as well, because TV networks want this to sell matchups. There should not be preseason rankings that then influence the way you're ranked throughout the year. And props to the voters for not ranking Texas and Penn State and taking them from the top 10 to just out of the rankings. Because so many years, what would happen is they would just linger into the 20s, and then they'd start winning against bad teams. And as everyone else kind of loses around them, they would just sneak back up, and then all of a sudden they'll both finish like 9-3, 10-2, or 9-3, 9-3, maybe worse. And they'd sneak their way back up into the rankings, and all of a sudden, they're like 12, 15. And it's like, but who did they beat to earn that? Where instead of they should have had to just start, and you look at the first 3 weeks and you're like, oh, Penn State hasn't beaten anybody. Maybe because there's some hype and talent there. They're a top 20 team, but they definitely shouldn't have been in the top 5, let alone 2 after those first 3 weeks. And now they're where they belong and out, but for so many years that wouldn't happen. And again, like I said, I know that thing's never going to stop because ESPN, CBS, Fox, they all want to be able to sell matchups to start the year. Hey, look, we've got number 1 and number 8 playing at the start of the year. Or how are you going to sell a Penn State FIU matchup if you can't be oh, Penn State's the 3rd ranked team in the country. There you go. Come see what number 3 in the country looks like. And you can't just be oh, Penn State, FIU. We think Penn State's good, but so you're going to need those rankings, and they're not going to go away. And it's how we've always done it. But we really shouldn't rank teams in college football and college basketball before the season. I mean, it's a beautiful thing about pro sports is that there's less teams, so you're just going to figure it out through the records and things like that. You need rankings in college football specifically. Basketball is less of a thing because you're going to look at the tournament at the end of the year. Basketball, it's just a vanity thing at this point to set up matchups and things like that. But you shouldn't have preseason rankings. You just don't know. And it can cloud, the final rankings. Oh, this team had to work their way and they never think. And then you're well, this team was ranked when they played them. It's yeah. But does being ranked 25th in the country at the start of the year when then you go 2-7 mean anything? No. A couple other things here. Been listening to the Trey Wingo podcast a little bit lately. Straight Facts, homie, which is just a fantastic name for a podcast. I wish I had thought of that. I mean, Ole Walls House is good, but maybe Straight Facts with Ole Walls. But Ole Walls House is better. Ole Walls House is better. But Straight Facts, homie, is a phenomenal name to a podcast. Trey Wingo, it's been good. I listened to some Ryder Cup stuff from him. He had some guys on that I like, Paul Azinger, and why am I blanking on the guy he had on in the post run? Now I gotta look. Deal with me. Where are we at? Mark Rolfing. Thank you. But yeah, good podcast. If you're looking for extra podcasts to listen to as a guy who spends some time in the car, I am. I also caught myself listening to a lot of Gary Allen all of a sudden recently, and it was funny. MJ will probably tell you about his weekend over on the Full Range podcast this weekend, but he mentioned seeing Gary Allen this week, and I was like, that is really weird, because I've just been listening to a ton of them. I hadn't really heard a lot about him. I was like, Gary Allen kind of slaps. Need a little more of them. And then kind of finally, new Jack Carr book comes out tomorrow on audio. I got some driving ahead of me, so I'm going to dive into that. It's a more of a prequel. It's not following Reese. It's following his father instead. I believe Vietnam era kind of stuff. So we'll be checking that out in the car. So yeah, that's what I got. Let's go wrap this thing up. Closing time, everybody. Just want to say thank you once again, everybody. Thank you. Appreciate the support, the watches, the listens. Don't forget to subscribe. YouTube, Apple Pods, Spotify, Amazon Pods. Go do it. Check it out. Don't forget to check out my guy, MJ, over at the Full Range Podcast. You can also get some of my merch and his merch in the merch shop. The link is in the show notes. Thank you to producer Kevy for helping us get started on video. We'll be back next week. More football, Packers back in action, more college football. I'm not watching Penn State. More playoff baseball, more passing thoughts, more everything. We'll see you then. And until then, peace.